buzzer beaters, the crowd, the Cinderellas. College basketball is a beautiful game filled with the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. The start of every season brings a fresh start for every team and every player. A chance for teams to fold under the burden of their expectations. A chance for teams to receive redemption for a previous season that was cut shorter than they had hoped. And of course, a chance for teams and players expected to do nothing to shock the world. This channel will be dedicated to discussing and analyzing all that goes on in the college basketball world. Welcome to the CBB Report. Unfortunately, there is a lot of time until the beginning of the college basketball season on November 8th. That said, with the transfer portal winding down and declaring for the draft over, rosters and schedules are starting to take shape. With that, let's go through each conference and rank the teams. Today, let's do our too early 2022-2023 rankings for probably the toughest college basketball conference, the Big Ten. While I love ranking teams, I do not always believe it creates the best picture. A team ranked 7 can maybe be marginally better than a team ranked number 8, and they might interchange throughout the season. That's why for the Big Ten, I created 5 tiers to represent the different competition levels. I already went through Tier 5, Feeding Frenzy, the bottom barrel of the Big Ten. Tier 4, Potential, teams that have potential to create upsets but not enough talent to have consistent winning. And Tier 3, Interesting Pieces, teams that are very good but for one reason or another won't be the elite teams this year. Today, let's go through Tier 2, which I have named Great but missing that X factor. There are only 2 teams in Tier 2, and both these teams are very good. There's just one thing missing that holds them back from being in Tier 1. And my first one, and fourth in the Big Ten, is Michigan. Michigan had a disappointing season last year, up until March Madness. Many mocked them to be the second best team in the Big Ten, but they finished 8th with an 11-9 record. They ended the season strong though, making the Sweet 16, but a lot of the main cast of characters left this year. Eli Brooks, the leader on this team and the crafty shooting guard, graduated. Freshman Caleb Houston was a bit of a disappointment last year, but still entered the draft. Musa Diabate, who was extremely explosive, started at the 4 last year and he also declared for the draft. That said, they still have the main piece of the team, 7'1" junior Hunter Dickinson. With him on the court, Michigan will always be relevant. Dickinson is a great passer, pretty good defender, and is crafty inside. His height is second to only Zach Edey, and last year he also learned how to stretch the floor, shooting 32.8% from 3. He's an extremely hard player to guard, and he is a centerpiece for Michigan. He also did a good job getting a point guard in key Princeton transfer Jalen Llewellyn. Llewellyn has great handles, is quick and crafty, and his 44% from the field and 38% from 3 is nothing to laugh at. If he can't make the leap to Big Ten play, Michigan might have a problem, but I think he'll be just fine. Michigan also had a great recruiting class, and 4-star recruit and undersized point guard Doug McDaniels should do fine backing up Llewellyn. Kobe Bufkin will have to replace Eli Brooks at the 2. Bufkin showed flashes in his 10.9 minutes per game last season, but was very inconsistent. Overall, he shot the ball poorly and has pretty bad advanced stats too. That said, the potential is there, and he's going to need to take a step up if Michigan wants to be in the top 5 teams. I believe he can and will take a step up though. Maybe not to the likes of Eli Brooks, but enough to replace him. He can't shoot 22% from 3 this year though. Terrence Williams should provide this team with heart, scrappiness, and defense at the 4. He pairs perfectly with Dickinson, and he can be the team's glue guy. And last year, his 117.5 offensive rating was second on the team. Williams gives Michigan some heart and grit that's going to need to win the Big Ten. He also is a stretch 4 that can shoot the 3, as he did last year at a great 39.1% clip. Williams, though, might have to fight for a starting job against prized high 4-star recruit Terrace Reed. At 6'10", Reed can play the 4 or 5. Though I expect Williams to win the starting job, I expect Reed to make a big impact off the bench, backing up both Dickinson and Williams when needed. The only freshman I think that will start for Michigan is 4-star recruit and head coach Juwan Howard's son, Jet Howard. At 6'7", with nice handles and speed, he looks the most college ready. If he can be the second star to Dickinson, this team can be a Tier 1 team. I expect him to be very good but not a star, and struggle a little, as most freshmen do. That is a really good starting 5, so why are they last in Tier 4? Well, this bench will be a problem. Yeah, Reed and McDaniels are good options, and 4-star recruit Greg Glenn can also be an option off the bench, but other than that, they do not have much. They did get Yusuf Kahayat, a recruit from Lebanon, but no one knows a lot about him, and that's really it. The depth is going to be a real problem for Michigan as they try to make their run to the top of the Big Ten, and that is why they'll be in Tier 2 and not Tier 1. They could have used a veteran bench piece, and I'm not sure they really have one that can get consistent minutes on the court. Michigan fans won't like this, but the top of Tier 2 and the 3rd best team in college basketball is Michigan State. Michigan State probably has the top 3 home court advantage of the Big Ten with the Breslin Center. I started off by having Michigan State lower, but the more I thought about it, the more I ended up liking this team and bumping them up. They had a fine campaign last year for expectations, going 11-9 and 7th in the Big Ten, but they kind of fizzled out at the end. So what makes me think they are going to make the jump to third. I almost see them as the antithesis to Michigan. The team has a bunch of really good pieces and depth, but not the one-star player like Michigan has in Hunter Dickinson. They also have head coach Tom Izzo, who's a legendary great head coach. This lack of a star will mean they won't make Tier 1, but they still get to be in Tier 2. What I really like about this team is how many important returning players there are. This should create continuity, which I love in Big Ten teams. Joey Hauser and Malik Hall should start at 3 and 4. In his early career, Hauser was much maligned. He's really turned his college career around as of last year. Both Hauser and Hall are very solid pieces, and when they shared the court last year, they outscored their opponents 226 to 195, according to Pivot Analysis. They can also switch on most guards or forwards, and Hauser shot 39.8% from 3 last year, and Hall shot a ridiculous 44.6% from 3 last year. Jaden Atkins can break out for Michigan as well. Atkins had a hot start to his freshman campaign before eventually cooling off. With Max Christie gone, he is going to be given a chance to have more consistent play this year and take a step up. A.J. Hoggard will most likely be the other starting guard. Hoggard struggled to shoot the ball last season, but showed craftiness inside and good defensive instincts. His vision at point guard is clear, as he averaged 4.8 assists in slightly over 20 minutes per game last season. He is a solid floor general for this team and can stabilize the team when they're going through rough patches. If he can shoot the ball better, then this team can get even more lethal. The X factor for this team will be a freshman high 4-star recruit, Jackson Kohler. It is going to have to be a quick learning curve for the 6'10", 250-pound center. He is going to go up against the best in the Big Ten. If he can keep up, this Michigan State team is deadly. If the other centers like Dickinson and Amori take advantage of Kohler, then Michigan State might drop from 3. I have enough faith in him with the other pieces to put Michigan State at 3. I also like the optics of this team. Most players can switch on to other positions and shoot threes, spacing the floor very well. Yes, the Max Christie loss is rough, but they can fill his scoring role by committee. Each player can play defense too. There is no one player you can just attack because they are all solid, and that includes the bench. Tyson Walker will be a valuable sixth man. He showed great flashes last year, actually shooting 49.3% from 3. His issue is he is too timid with the ball sometimes, which limits his scoring ability to flashes when he's feeling confident. If he can trust himself a bit more, he can be one of the best sixth men in the Big Ten, or even get a starting spot. Trey Holloman, the freshman 4-star recruit, should also get minutes behind Hoggard. He can be a solid role player and will be auditioning for a greater role next season. Mady Sissoko is a nice body to have to give Kohler a rest, or if Kohler's being exposed. Pierre Brooks didn't have great numbers off the bench last year, but he plays super hard, which is always valued from a depth piece. Sure, they might not have a star like their rival Michigan in Hunter Dickinson, but their team is just solid all around. They play good defense, everyone has a role, and Coach Izzo is a great coach. That said, you need stars to be in Tier 1, and this team just does not have that, and that is why they're the best team in Tier 2. That is my Big Ten Tier 2 rankings. Stay tuned for my Tier 1 rankings coming out shortly. Hope you enjoyed the video. Follow the TikTok CBB Report. Subscribe, like, and comment with your thoughts. Where was I right? Where do you think I went wrong? Let me know down below, and thank you for watching. Have a good day.